This is Andrew for CollectionDX.com taking a look at Action Toys Machine Robo Series Eagle Robo. Some of you may remember him as Leader 1 from the Gobots. So Eagle Robo is about on the same level as Rod Drill here. He's a bit bigger though. He's a little under 5.5 inches tall. And there actually is a price difference between these two. Rod Drill's about $40 and Eagle Robo is about $45. So it's interesting to see that they're actually going for like a range of sizes for these figures instead of kind of the old standardized one size from the old Machine Robo 600 series or the standard Gobots, if you remember those. So he's a nice, well-built, fairly hefty action figure in robot mode. He has die-cast for his body. It actually goes all the way down here to his black waist part right there. And also his feet are die-cast, so he's got a fair bit of weight to him. Feels pretty good. As far as articulation goes, his head is on a ball joint that's kind of loose on mine, although that's not something that can't be fixed. It's on a kind of a long stalk right here that can also move forward and backwards, which is mostly for the transformation, but you can use it for articulation. It just kind of looks weird because it's very skinny and thin to just be his neck. So just try to hide it with his chin there. These little bits on the side can move around as well if you want him to have more peripheral vision there. His shoulders are on a ball joint, and there's also a joint up here that lets them go like that. He's got bicep swivel, nice double jointed elbow. His hands have a nice ball joint as well. Part of that's for the transformation. And one kind of neat thing about the way his hand is sculpted, it's not quite like an open hand, it's not quite a fist. He sort of has his front two fingers like this, just like slightly ahead of his other lower fingers right there. So that's kind of a neat little detail. He has fully rotating waist. This thing on the back here, it doesn't really peg in anywhere as far as I can tell, but it still just kind of moves so it can stay out of the way. He actually has this extra joint, which is part of the transformation where his whole body shifts forward. So just be aware of that when you're posing him. Below the waist, he's got ball jointed hips. He's got a thigh swivel. His knees are more or less single jointed. You can get them to bend pretty deeply if you move his wings out of the way. Just note that there's a transformation joint right here, and you might have to fiddle with all these screws a little bit to get them at the kind of the right tightness, because what you really want is for this to move and not this to move. See, that's the transformation joint. This here is his actual knee joint. And finally, he's got ball jointed ankles and little moving feetsies right there. So he's, again, nice, posable, pretty solid. One thing that is a little weird on this figure is his like tail fins. They actually extend farther than his feet. And on the box, he has a fairly wide stance to cover up the fact that, again, he's sort of standing on his tail fins right there. But still, it's pretty okay when you're doing all kinds of action-y poses. And for weapons, he comes with this thing. It's like a crazy 5-barreled shotgun made up of a couple of missiles and some conformal fuel tanky things. And this just actually pegs in to the top part of his wrists, well, tabs in. And you can also put it into his hand. And here you go. Again, like with Rod Drill, this is not from the Machine Robo Revenge of Kronos anime. They just sort of made that up for this design. And for those wondering about like what happened to the more Leader 1-esque mouth that the prototype for this had, it's still there. It's just been covered up by this mask. I've seen people pry this thing off here. It's actually glued on, and there actually is a little mouth there, which is I'm guessing Action Toys had to do that after production read said, no, we have the license for Machine Robo the anime, not Gobots. That's Hanna-Barbera, Warner, or Hasbro, or whoever. Although it's weird because, you know, Bandai owns the toys, but anyway, moving on. So before I get into his transformation, I just want to do a couple of size comparisons. So here he is with the original Super Gobots Leader 1. You can see they're kind of almost the same size. Here he is with Combiner Wars Air Raid again, so you can see some of the new Machine Robo figures are going to be getting into deluxe class Transformer size. And to kind of help you guys out, wondering like, well, what can they make for this line? What can't they make? I got a bunch of the Jet guys. So we have Heat Seeker, aka Falcon Robo, Royal T, aka Harrier Robo, Mach 3, aka Phantom Robo, Water Walk, aka Cessna Robo, and here's a Jet Robo, aka Blue Jet, aka Phytor, and the original, well, the blue variant of Leader 1. So these guys are all in the Revenge of Kronos anime. They have fairly prominent roles, although with these, like all the non-main characters, they tend to be used as like crowd filler or just like extra guys. So it's you can totally army build these new ones, and it's in line with the series. So yeah, I hope we do see some of these. We've seen Blackbird Robo, aka Snoop, as a prototype, but yeah, so these are all possible figures, and of course they're going to make Blue Jet because he's one of the main characters. Alright, so let's get into that transformation. So Eagle Robo's transformation, despite being way more involved than rod drills, is still pretty intuitive, and you'll figure it out like after doing it one or two times. It's actually really nicely engineered, and everything has a place to go, more or less. So to start off, you can move his arms out like this, just rotate them to the side. You can push in his upper shoulders, which I'm not really sure why they open. It's really just for aesthetics, because these still move when they're closed. This thing here, it's on a little, it's on a moving joint right there. There's a tiny little divot right there that goes onto this tiny little peg right there, and there's even a little half circle there where it will lock in for jet mode. So do that on both sides. Just kind of keep that out of the way. There's a tab here that goes into the slot in this area right here. So you just kind of actually leave this alone for a little bit. Just get that lined up. And yeah, you can actually get this all the way up like that. And again, we're going to do it on this side here. Open up this panel right there, and you can see there's an area that his fists will just fit right into. Same thing on this side. Alright, next what you're going to do is you're going to unlock all this stuff right here. Now these panels on the back, they have this angled tab that goes into the slot here on this moving arm. That's where the entire arm is actually on, this little armature here. So kind of take that and move this out of the way. And this part up here will come undone. You can see at the ends of these little cylindrical things right there, there's a slot, and that actually goes onto these tabs that are part of the die-cast chest piece. So continuing on, you want to take the head on that little stalk that it's on and pull it forward as far as you can go, because the little armatures that the shoulders are attached to are going to squeeze in, move up and in like this. And as you're doing it, you want to angle this the intake part of the shoulder back a little bit this way, because there's a tab right there, again the same one that's used for securing these in robot mode, that's going to go into a slot just below where the intake ends right there. And you're going to feel that, and it's just going to go in like that. I noticed on mine, on this side, it tends to be a little harder to get that to go in as cleanly, because there's a lot of joints in there. So you just kind of have to make sure it gets in there. You can turn his head around this way, and then you can bring up the no section of the jet mode. Just kind of move these past that. There's basically like 2 sets of moving hinges right there where everything moves around. His head is actually kind of a tight fit when you're putting it through, but don't worry about too much paint chipping. So just kind of get it through there and bring the little tab down and put it up into the back like that. Alright, so again, leave his legs alone for right now. And you're going to be bringing his forearms inward. Both of these panels right here are going to tab into, they have a tab right here that goes into little slots just in his midsection right there. And also don't forget, you need to push this up. Again, this whole upper body slides forward a little bit. Alright, so you're going to do that. Just feel it out so that it comes in. And there we go. This is pretty much all set. And on the back here, what you're going to do is just kind of move all this stuff around for a bit. This is all going to come down. These tabs are just going to go right in between where the fist and the midsection are. Same thing on both sides. There's actually also a little cutout for this part of the waist right there. This little kind of T-shaped area. And then this all just kind of nicely clicks into place. And there you go. That's the upper body. Now let's do the legs. So again, the instructions come with a special extra leaflet to tell you do the upper body first before doing the lower body. That's just how the transformation is going to work. So just close up his feet. Again, these are little die cast thrusters here. Flip out the ends of his wings. And with these transformation joints, you're going to want to just bring this up. It does very like, on one it tabs in better, but there's actually, you can see there's a little tab on the inside of the leg, and that's just going into a slot that's right there. But for this mode, you're going to be putting them back like that. And do the same thing on this side. And you're probably not going to want to put the legs, tab them together until you've got this all down. There's a tab here that goes into the middle of the groin right there. And there's also a tab here that's going to go into this section right there. So again, pretty intuitive as far as transformation goes. You can easily get a feel for it after a few tries. And then just tab his legs together, and you just got to bring this up so that this peg tabs into a slot at the wing root, and flip up the tail fins, and here we go. So here is Eagle Robo in jet mode. He is, as you'd expect, an F-15 Eagle. He has little flip out landing gear underneath. The wheels don't move, but still, it's pretty nice. You can just set them down like that. Here he is with, again, the old deluxe Machine Robo Eagle Robo, or Super Gobots Leader 1. And it's like almost the same size, just a little bit smaller. The weight's not quite as much as the old one, but still, it's pretty nice, and I appreciate how well these toys lock together, and how still to this day Gobots are beating Transformers as far as the sleekness of the plane mode is concerned. And just for fun, here's the old Leader 1, the tiny one, alongside. You can see that the new Machine Robo Series version keeps the vents in the upper side just like the old one, the smaller of the old ones. This is a pretty stylized F-15. It's not quite what a real one looks like. If I bring out my little die-cast Maisto F-15 there. So, but I'm wondering if that's just so they don't have to license the actual F-15, or it's just part of the stylizing that pretty much all these seem to have, new Machine Robo figures. So, with his accessories, the shotgun thingy, what you do is you just split this, untab the missiles from from the bottom here. Go right here, and there's a tab there that goes onto slots right there. Oh, actually, what you want to do first is you take the halves of the shotgun, and see this as a, you're left with kind of this half circle peg right here. You just line that up with a little half circle on the side of his legs here, and you push that in. And then you do the same thing on this side. They can be tough to get out, so you might have to use a tool to get them back out or test fit them a few times. So yeah, just do that and do that, and here we go. He's got all of his accessories in plane mode. So like with rod drill, Eagle Robo comes with a whole bunch of parts to build a stand, and these are all like modular pieces that can be combined into even bigger displays. What you really need to know about these is how he interacts with it. So you just take this little stand adapter piece, shove it right in the back of his crotch here, and if you want, flip up his landing gear, and you can stick him up here for a display. I'm not really big on the Action Toys display base. I think they're a little too weak to deal with their more heavy die-cast figures. You can see Eagle's making this thing wobble a lot. Also, these come apart pretty easily, and you know they have to. So, yeah, I'm not sure how well this would handle long-term display, and also the base comes off really easily. So, yeah, maybe just leave this off or use a different kind of display stand. And sadly, these don't work with Thomas E stages. They are, in fact, too big for that. But anyway, so Eagle Robo's pretty nice. He definitely feels like he should cost more than him because he's more elaborate and a bit more involved as far as his transformation goes. Feels like a good toy. There were some weird quality control issues on mine. For one thing, I can't quite get this side to lock in as tightly as this side. I mean, the toy is still transforming fine, but it's just weird that something is misaligned in there. And also right here, there's kind of a stress mark, because I noticed the pin on the back here, where part of his shoulder is articulated, was pushed in too far, and it almost, I guess, popped out the other end. But yeah, still, it's a really solid toy, and feels great. Nothing feels fragile on it. It's just a fun, really good update on, you know, the classic Machine Robo toy. So anyway, this has been Andrew for CollectionDX.com, and I should probably buy more of these, shouldn't I?